Hello, StarCraft fans. Matt here, bringing you what could be Fantasy's final game in this OSL. We do not know. That's what makes it exciting. That's right, folks. We have the OSL 2009 Ever OSL Day 6 round of 16 here. This is going to be Group C Fantasy versus EffOrt. Why is this game so important? Why am I excited? Why am I a little bit scared as long as being excited? Because Fantasy, if he loses this game to EffOrt, it means him and EffOrt will both be 1 and 2, and both Calm and Shine will advance. So EffOrt, really, the only thing he has to do in this game, I mean, his only purpose, because he is not moving on either way, is to bring down Fantasy. And that's, you know what? That's, you do what you got to do. A win is a win. I always wonder if there's things going on in the background, with people trying to pay people off, or maybe some sort of, like, little, WrestleMania action going on where stuff is planned out, but I tend to doubt it. But here's the thing with Fantasy. So Fantasy got silver in the last two OSLs. Heartbreaking matches. The Incrude OSL and then the Batu OSL after that. And I like Fantasy. I like his play. I think he's a very good player. He has his little fantasy build that works against Zerg for the most part when he can pull it off well. And he's certainly capable of creative play. But man, he can't get a gold. He has never gotten a gold. And I'm just worried about this. Now, if Fantasy wins, it means him, Calm, and Shine will all be at 2-1. And will all be playing each other in tiebreakers. So that would be meaning Group B and Group C would both go to a tiebreaker. So I love EffOrt. EffOrt is a fantastic Zerg player, extremely, extremely skilled. But I don't know. I'm a little worried for Fantasy here. Fantasy about a 50% win rate against Zerg. Meanwhile, EffOrt is about 60-something, about 62%, 63% against Terran. So EffOrt certainly has the advantage as far as the stats go. EffOrt has beaten Light, Frisian, beaten C really. All right, he hasn't really played a lot of Terran games actually, and he's lost to Ruby, Kanata. I'm sorry if that was a spoiler for Ruby. I didn't realize that was actually played so recently. That was played 4 days ago. So sorry if that was a spoiler. My apologies. Yeah, he actually hasn't played a lot of games against Terran, so I guess my hope for EffOrt for Fantasy's sake would be that maybe he's just a little bit rusty because he hasn't played a lot of Terran matches. On the other end, Fantasy here, by the way, the expansion going up along with the Scout for EffOrt not getting gas, as they are pointing out there. So EffOrt, might be trying to go Ling heavy for some kind of cheesiness going on here. Or actually, I'm sorry, he's going for a 12 hatch. So EffOrt just going for a straight up 12 hatch. Actually, that's pretty normal against Terran. If the Zerg player doesn't want to put any pressure on the Terran, well, he is going to scout this right now. So Fantasy is going to know he's going to be all right, at least for the most part. So nothing outrageous from EffOrt. EffOrt's going to play a little bit more of an economic game, which I think is not a bad idea here on Heartbreak Ridge, which is the map we're playing on currently. Getting back to Fantasy stats here, I was going to talk a little bit. He has lost games. He has been losing to Zerg, and I would say to Zerg players that are not as good as EffOrt. So a little bit worrying there. Again, let's see. He lost to Calm. Lost to Type B, lost to Shine. Of course, those are in his group here. I'm sorry, not Type B, but Shine is in his group. Type B was a loss in the Pro League. So, yeah, all right. Well, enough of the kind of conjecture here and me being worried for Fantasy. Fantasy is a big boy. I'm sure he'll be able to handle himself here. It should be noted that Fantasy has played quite a few more games against Zerg, but he just generally has been losing against Zerg, so he might not be as rusty in the matchup, but he's also not as good in the matchup as EffOrt is. Great placement on that third hatchery, providing a sort of block if he did need to make a sunken colony in the middle of those. will provide a very good block. A couple Marines just kind of guarding the secondary expansion right now. I think this was just a one barracks fast expand build currently. Yeah, that's what it looks like it is. The one barracks fast expand is a very common build nowadays. It's very versatile, and especially generally you can get out enough Marines to even ward off some sort of harassment that comes in earlier. Obviously, if there's a cheesy build, you know, like a 4-pull or something like that, then it doesn't really matter. It's tough either way for Terran to ward that off. But you know, a very balanced build, especially for a map like this that might not be big, but it is very long. Haha. Big and long. All right. eBay's coming up right here, and let me see. Actually coming up a little bit earlier than normally I'm used to. We're not going to see any sort of factory. There isn't going to be any sort of fantasy build coming out here anytime soon. No quick starport to get any Valkyries or drop play. So fantasy might be going kind of more standard, just standard Medic Marine in this game, which it does look like he is going to do. So that's good to see. Fantasy doesn't have bad Medic Marine play. He certainly might also get the factory later in the game to get the tanks for backup support. I do see him tend to go bionic now and then. That's biomech, or going with basically tank and vulture support and mainly medic marines. I don't know why I'm in an explaining mood tonight. You know, I think I like to explain things because I like to remind myself of what things mean so I don't forget. I feel like my memory is fading a little too early in my life, but you know what? I think it just has to do with watching too damn many StarCraft games. All right, so the macroing is going on. There is the factory to go up right there. He might still decide to go with dropship play. I know that Fantasy is very good at getting down. See, there's the sunken between the two bases there. Between the two bases, between the two hatcheries. Not a bad idea at all. Good placement so far from EffOrt. EffOrt is no joke when it comes to this stuff. The Zerglings are going to come out, but there is going to be a force to be able to counter them right now, even throwing in a Fire Bat into the mix, so not a bad idea at all there from Fantasy. I was going to say, Fantasy will probably still go dropships. One thing that you need to do, at least in my opinion, and there are certainly other builds to counter things, but in my opinion, you need to get the harassment down. You got to try to drop in the base. You got to try to drop in the main. There come all of the Mutalisks here, the